Okay, so let's get right into it. What if I told you that the computer you're using at this very moment might be secretly way more powerful than you think? No, seriously. A lot of people are running their machines with like one hand tied behind their back, and it's all because of one simple number, 32. This is probably the best way to wrap your head around it. I mean, both a garden hose and a giant fire hose can move water, right? But the sheer volume they can handle is just worlds apart. One is for, watering your flowers, the other is for putting out a skyscraper fire. And that really is the big question we're going to answer here. Is your computer just trickling data through this tiny little pipe when it was actually built with the capacity for a massive industrial water main? Well, let's find out. To really understand the problem, we first have to look at what's holding things back. The best way to think of a 32-bit system is like a pair of digital handcuffs, really limiting what your hardware is truly capable of. So what does 32-bit even mean anyway? Well, in the simplest terms, it's all about how wide the digital highways are inside your processor. It sets the limit for how many bits of data it can work with at one time, and this is the really crucial part, how many unique memory addresses it can actually see and manage. And that little detail about memory addresses, well, it leads us directly to this number. This is the single biggest, most important limitation of any 32-bit system: 4 gigabytes. And let me be clear, this isn't a suggestion, it is a hard mathematical wall. And this right here perfectly illustrates the problem. You could have this incredibly powerful machine, right? Maybe you've got 8 or 16 or even 32 gigabytes of RAM installed. But if your operating system is 32-bit, it simply cannot see or use anything beyond that 4 gigabyte limit. All that extra memory just sits there, doing absolutely nothing. It's completely wasted. Okay, so how do we get rid of those handcuffs? How do we smash right through that memory wall? The answer is to make the jump to the modern standard, and that's 64-bit computing. The scale of the difference here it's just mind-boggling. A 32-bit system can address 2 to the power of 32, that's about 4.2 billion unique addresses. But a 64-bit system, that's 2 to the power of 64. That's not double, it's over 18 quintillion. It's a number that's almost impossible to even imagine. And to put that insane number into some kind of perspective, a 64-bit computer can theoretically manage up to 16 exabytes of RAM. I mean, for all practical purposes, the limit is just gone. We literally couldn't build a computer big enough to hit this ceiling today. It's effectively infinite for us. So yeah, breaking the memory limit is a huge deal. But honestly, that's just the beginning. Let's look at the other real-world benefits you actually get. How this power translates into a much better experience for you. It's all about capability. Because it can process these bigger, wider chunks of data, it is an absolute game changer for heavy-duty tasks like video editing or 3D work. It makes multitasking, having 50 Chrome tabs open, feel way smoother. Plus, you pretty much need it to run most modern, demanding software, and it even comes with better security features baked right in. This table just sums it all up perfectly. From the RAM limit to security to just being the modern industry standard. 64-bit, which you'll often see called x64, is just flat-out superior across the board. The 32-bit architecture, or x86, is really just legacy tech at this point. Okay, so you're probably sold on 64-bit by now. The next logical question is, can your machine even handle it? Let's turn this from an explainer into a quick little diagnostic for your own computer. This is the key question, right? You need to figure out if you have a 64-bit capable processor that's just being held back by an old 32-bit operating system. And the good news is, it's incredibly easy to check. It's really just a few clicks away. For most of you on Windows, you just open up your settings, click on System, and then head over to the About section. All the info you need is waiting for you right there. This is the golden ticket. This is the exact phrase you're looking for next to System Type. If it says 32-bit operating system, x64-based processor, ding, 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 you are the perfect candidate to upgrade. It means your hardware is a powerful 64-bit machine, but the software is that tiny 32-bit garden hose we talked about. You can unlock its full potential. So, you've confirmed your PC is ready for the big leagues. Awesome. What's next? Well, moving from 32-bit to 64-bit isn't just a simple update, but it is a totally straightforward process if you just follow these steps. Okay, now this is super important, so listen up. You cannot just upgrade in place. You can't just flip a switch. Because the core architecture is fundamentally different, you have to perform what's called a clean install. That means wiping the current operating system and replacing it with the new 64-bit version. So here's the roadmap. First, you confirm your hardware is compatible, which we just did. Second, and I can't stress this enough, you back up every single file that you care about. Then, you'll create a bootable USB stick with the 64-bit OS, perform that clean installation, and finally, you'll reinstall and reactivate your programs. So, with all that in mind, should you make the switch? For almost everyone, the answer is a resounding yes. But there is one small exception. So, let's get to the final verdict. All right, here's the simple rule of thumb. If your machine has 4 GB of RAM or more, you are absolutely leaving performance on the table with a 32-bit system. It's time to upgrade. Now, if you have a much older machine, say with only 2 gigs of RAM or less, a lightweight 32-bit system might actually feel a little bit snappier simply because 64-bit programs use slightly more memory to run.
So by moving to 64-bit, you're bringing your computer fully into the modern era, and you're finally unlocking the power it had all along. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? With technology moving so fast, what does that next big leap look like? Will we go to 128-bit or something else entirely? That's a question for another day.